Assalamu alaikum. Excuse me, I'm gonna speak in English so I become sure, everyone can understand what I'm saying. Actually, I have only 2 minutes and a half, and Dr. Ahmed, he has 2 minutes and a half. Almost nothing. All right. But I like to say, actually, I like to welcome you all and thank you. It's really nice to be with you all. And this meeting, usually every year, we're doing the same thing. But last 2 years, we couldn't do it because, COVID-19. And we thought to come back again and be with you all, especially, I think this meeting is going to be a good opportunity to new researchers, new academic, new students, who's in the research field. As you know, Research Support Office, we have actually 3 departments there. One of them is award, another one is post, and the third one is contract department. Today, inshallah, we're going to give you some idea. Maybe the time is not enough, all right? But we're going to try to answer all your questions, If you thought about any question after this, please, you can email us, on research support email. And if you like, to meet us, we are there, inshallah, every day. And you just, contact us, email us, and we're going to be with you all. Dr. Ahmed, I think it's your turn. Almost you have nothing, huh?
شكرا دكتور سعيد. دكتور أحمد العون، عميد الدراسات العليا في جامعة قطر. I'm going to speak both English and Arabic in case someone doesn't understand. طبعا احنا في مكتب الدراسات العليا في عندنا مساعد الدراسات العليا the GA, Graduate Assistantship. And I think we have done a lot of sessions and awareness sessions in the previous years regarding that. You can find it in the YouTube channels, and I think grad community if you need more information about that. Anyway, today, inshallah, my colleagues, Ms. Ghada Kawari, the Assistant Dean for a graduate student in a Graduate Studies Office, she will explain more about the GA and other opportunities for the graduate studies. يعني إن شاء الله بإذن الله راح تكون الورشة يعني مختصرة في العرض اللي راح يكون، لكن مثل ما ذكر الدكتور سعيد، أي أسئلة أي استفسارات، الويب سايت موجود، المكتب الدراسات العليا في أي وقت ممكن باتصال تليفون أو إرسال إيميل سواء لمكتب العميد أو حتى العميد المساعد. وحياكم الله جميعا، وسهلا فيكم.
شكرا دكتور. Thank you very much. So let me just remind you a little bit the agenda that we have today. So we will have quick speeches from the pre-award kind of orientation, actually, from the pre-award. So I will make it by myself. Then my colleagues, Mrs. Saada from the compliance and contracts will tell you a little bit about the contracts, and Dr. Abdul Ali Hagouni from the Post Award, also he's the manager of the Post Award, will tell you a little bit about the Post Award. Then we will have a coffee break and some bites. So we will indicate for you exactly where, so it will be a little bit far from here, but anyway. And then we come back at around 2 to 10 for some hands-on sessions where we will show you practically how you submit, how you do this and that. This is mainly, and it is really important for those who are here for the first time. We have different systems, and sometimes the colleagues or the students are a little bit confused about this. So we wanted really to show you where to go to be sure that you are getting the right message. So we will have some hands-on session on the pre-award tools, and also on post-award. I think my colleagues will tell you a little bit about that, and then also some hands-on on activities regarding GA. Okay, so let me start with the pre-award. Sorry. Oops. Okay, thank you. I was not on the right file. And I am a Mac user, that's why. Okay, so in this first, let's say, session, I wanted just to explain a little bit about the submission for the grants. So before you submit, definitely you need to select your application. And right now we have different kind of applications. I will go a little bit deep in this later, but globally those applications who are regular applications that you know and that you have probably submitted already to them are the regular ones, the internal grants, what we call the internal grants. So we have the high impact, the collaborative, the concept development, the national capacity, the international research collaboration. This is mainly to make relationship with other universities and other teams, to strengthen the relation, the international relation of the university, and of course, very important, the student grant. So these are the grants that we have since years now, and I will let you know a little bit later that we are adding new grants related to postdoc, to visiting scholars, to PhD, etc., to industry-based scholarships also. So I will let you a little bit know about that. But this is what is really known by all of you. So you have the budget and you have the duration. Most of the grants that we have are of duration of 2 years, but we have some specific ones, for example, the national capacity or the concept development, which are 1 year, and the student grant, which are per semester. So first semester we give grants, second semester we give grants. Okay. Now probably it's better that I sorry. Now this is how to submit. Yes, now to select your grant, I just invite you to go to the blog. So this is really very important. So to know that we have a blog, so we built a blog on which we are putting all the information related to the grants. Most of the questions that you have or you may have in the future, you have answers in the blog. So please, please go to the blog and try to have all the information there related to the processes that we have, related to the departments, related even the phones and numbers and emails. You have everything there. So so the blog is like this. So you have so that's only just information, the latest information that we have. But the most important is here. So you have a section related to your life cycle of your project, from submission to follow-up, etc. I will go back to this. You have a section called news here on the left. We are regularly putting the news related to the calls, external calls, etc. So you can see here, for example, we have QRDI is opening a new call related to innovation. So we are putting that, and we are also broadcasting this. So we are sending this to the Associate Dean for Research and the directors of the center. So we are sending this information, but to be sure that you are getting it from different sources, we are putting it on the blog. And the blog is really the best thing, let's say, in terms of communication between us and you, because you will see that we are putting things, you will see them in real time as soon as we put them, so you have them there. So you have different news, then you have the calendar. So here on the left, those are mainly the calendar for our internal grants and the grants of QNRF, etc., the regular ones that you know. So we want you just to be sure that you are not missing the deadline, so we put them here. But the news is any grant from any other source, so we are putting there. Then you have a section related to this one, FAQ. Here we are putting the most and the frequently asked question. This is very important because, you know, probably some details, you miss them in the call, etc. And they are repetitive questions. So we put most of the answers here. just to be sure that you are, when we talk, for example, I don't know about where can I find the faculty outcomes data, for example, we have a lot of questions related to the TRL and SRL readiness levels. So in some calls, we tell you that you need to propose, for example, when it comes to concept or prototype calls. So we need you to go beyond TRL3, for example. So what does it mean? Of course, it's explained somewhere, but here we explain clearly where to find this. So TRL or SRL, for social science, for example, we are putting also the SRL levels, and we are talking about SRL 2, 3, etc. Anyway, so this is just something very important that we want you to know about it. And then you have some sections related to the statistics. For example, here we are receiving a lot of questions related to the former projects that we have awarded. So this is very important that you know, for example, or people from outside also, because this is accessible from outside, it's public, know about what are the awarded projects since years now, since like cycle 2 in Qatar University. So probably they can contact you to work with you, to build collaboration with you. So this is very important. So we are putting them here because they are public. So if you see, now we are in cycle 6. We are working on the evaluation of the cycle 6, and we will give the results. So that's why you can see only the submission here of the cycle 6, the different projects. But for the others, if you click on awarded project, so you have the list of all the awarded projects. If I just go here, for example, to collaborative, so if it works, yes, here. So you have all the granted projects this year that are starting from January. And so you have here the LPI, the college, the pillar, the project title, etc. So this is very important. So even for you, if you want to collaborate with the colleagues, so you can just go here and take advantage from this. Then you have another section related to the statistics. Also, I think this is very important for the colleges and the centers, and even for you, to see what are the submission year per year from the colleges, from the centers, from the pillars, etc. So please go and just take a look. So it gives you also an idea about the evolution of the grants and the evolution of the proposals in the university. Then the most important thing, I was talking about selecting your grants, so you can find it here also. So just go here to the internal grants. So you have also the external grants, but as today we are focusing on the internal grants. So here you have all the grants that we have in the university. So you have, for example, the IRCC, the international relation one, the high impact, the collaborative. So I told about this a little bit earlier. So if you click on the anyone, I take, for example, I don't know, the collaborative, it's here, as I started with the collaborative, it takes you to the website where you can find all the documents and the timeline. So if I go just to the documents, here in general, you have the guidelines, so in English and in Arabic, then, and the application template in English and Arabic, and the budget sheet that you have to fill. So in general, you need to read the guidelines because everything is explained in that guideline, and you need to follow up all the steps. And after that, you have to submit this template using our internal grant tools, submission tool. In general, you will not find the submission tool here because this is also public. And in general, when we put the link, we receive hundreds of other applications from students or colleagues from abroad, from other universities from the world, thinking that we are funding the other universities. So now you will find this link in the broadcast when we send the email to the associate deans and directors. So, and also we make a general broadcast at the university. We put the link and we say, please go to this link and submit. So it's still an information, internal information. But anyway, so this is what I wanted to tell you here. Then, no, sorry, I have to go just back to, yes. So you select here and you go and you submit through the system, and we will make a hands-on on it. So just to go back here, again, to submit, suppose that you selected your grant, and you are submitting. So you need to know some information. So if you click just here, your research proposal life cycle, it gives you some details about really from A to Z, what is the life cycle of your project. You submit it, we evaluate it. Then if you have to sign a contract because it is international or it's a collaboration with the industry, then you have to go through the contracting, etc. Then there is a follow-up made during the life cycle of your project until the closing. So in general, the submission and the evaluation, I think we have three colors. The first phase here, it's not the same colors here, it's amazing. I have different colors there. So these two phases are pre-award. This phase is this phase is post-award, and this one is contracting phase. So we have in general 3 phases. If it's really internal grants without any contract, so you go directly from the pre-award to the post-award. But if you have any contract to sign, before you go to the post-award, you need first to work with our colleagues on your contract, etc. The contract can take few weeks until 6 months, depending on the negotiation, etc. I think my colleague will explain this to you. And it's important that you know about this. So in the pre-award, as I said, so you have to select the grant, you have to start writing your proposal at the earliest, and check the TRL, SRL levels if required. If we say in the requirement that you need to be beyond this level, it's mainly when we are really requesting prototypes, etc. And then obtain the partner commitment letter, if any. For the international collaboration, you need to have a letter from the institution saying that they agree about the participation of their faculty, etc. And you need to prepare it in advance. No need to wait until the end because it will be late. Prepare the budget according to the template. So you have a template, you have to fill the budget according to that template. And then when you submit, it's our work. We go and we make the evaluation. So in general, most of our project, 99%, are evaluated by 2 external evaluators. So from the keywords that you're putting, from the title they are putting, from the abstract they are putting, we select, we have a database of international reviewers, and we select the reviewers that are able to evaluate your projects, and then we have 2 reviews coming. That's very important for us because we have at the end a ranking of all the applications, and this is one of the main criteria to rank the projects. So we pre-screen first, we look to the eligibility criteria, and if there is something missing, the letter is missing, etc., we come back to you to provide it as soon as possible. Or if we see that you are missing something really important, so you can be pre-screened. For example, if you are a student, but you are applying on a high impact project, so we say that this is only for faculty, so definitely you cannot continue. So depending on the case, then we make the technical review, then we make the proposal ranking. We have a strategic committee. So the ranking starts by the reviewers, then the committee, then a validation by the director and the vice president. And then we make the result announcement. And soon we will make the announcement of the cycle 6 because we are at the end of the review. I think I will stop here. I'm sure that I took a little bit more time. Sorry about that. So this is just an introduction about what we do in the pre-award. Of course, if you have any question related to the submission or the evaluation or other things related really to building your project and submitting, so our team is always here. So please contact us either by email or just come to our offices and we will be happy to help you. Probably now I give the microphone to probably my colleague first. Yeah, let's go from left to right to tell you a little bit about the contracts.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Saad Al-Kwesi. I am the manager of contracts and compliance. I joined recently, like maybe 1 month ago. So maybe most of you are more familiar with the contracts. I'm going to speak about the role of our department. The role is just to mainly review, negotiate, and prepare the research contracts. and ensure that the university research policy complies with the funding agency policy. There are types of contracts that we review, and there are types of contracts that we prepare. The types of contracts that we prepare is the sub-award agreement, which is with internal and external collaborators, which contributes in kind or in cash. The co-funding agreement, where the QU and the other collaborator both shares the funding project. Also the MOU for a new partnership with internal and external also partner. The research collaboration also. And we are responsible for amending, of course, amending all these agreements when needed in case of extending the project, changing the LPI, or any other related changes like budget or any other changes. The types of contracts that we review is the data share agreement, which ensures that the data and the agreement itself will not be shared with any other or external or third party. The confidentiality agreement, which ensures to keep all the agreement information confidential. Also, we review the non-disclosure agreement, which is basically similar to the confidentiality agreement, but it's usually signed before starting the project. The service, we also review all the service agreements. What we mainly focus on in creating or preparing the agreement, the IP rights. So if QU, for example, is the owner of the product or any outcome of this project, we have to mention that in the agreement that we are the owners. So to protect the rights, the QU rights, and who has the right to use this information. Also, we need the budget, which is usually provided by the post-award department. We encourage the PI to provide us with the contact details of the partner, the right contact details, so we can communicate with them faster. We also need the governing law, which is the most important thing. We usually choose the Qatari law because we are familiar with that, and we are sure it will protect us. This was like a brief about our department. If you need any more information, you can just communicate with us through the research contract email, and you are welcome to visit our office anytime. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. So this is Dr. Abdel Ali. So I'm the post-award manager. I've been in this role for 2 years, and we are actually the last step to welcome you once you have received the email telling you congratulations, you have been awarded this or that grant internally or externally. So after we have cleared from pre-award, you have been congratulated to get your award or grant. You come to the legal department if you need a contract with an external partner in Qatar or outside of Qatar. And once you have cleared all that step, so we come to the post-award. So post-award is basically the section in ORS that will stay with you from the beginning until the end. So we start with you when we hand you the keys of your budget, and we close the grant together with you at the end of your duration, if it's 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, or whatever. So we provide you with a lot of types of support. And if I may allow myself, we can categorize these into 3 main areas. Number 1, we help you to hire. So we have, we interface the office with HR. So we work closely with HR. We have 2 HR specialists that are resident within our department, and they support you to hire your research assistants, technicians, postdocs, whatever really is in your research plan and your budget. So we help you to go through the procedure, the paperwork, the visa, the immigration, and then we manage also things like payroll, benefits for those hired, research associates on your grants. The second area we help you with is really the expenditure per se. If you have, I don't know, chemicals to buy, a laptop to buy, a tool, references, Maraja, anything that is in your budget, we support you to get your money back if you have paid from your pocket, and to follow procurement process within the university and the country, so to procure equipment through the proper channels. And we guide you through what type of process you should be following. So we have several channels that we will work with you and my colleagues later to show you some hands-on practical tips, how you could raise a request, how to follow up a request, and what type of request you should be raising based on the type of expense you are incurring. The third area is travel. So whenever really you are going to travel for a collaborative visit with your partner outside of Qatar, you are going for a conference to present or disseminate the data of your outcome of your grant, we also support you to raise a travel permit and get an advance payment, and then close the travel permit and consolidate your expenses. So that's really the type of support our department is providing to awardees, whether they are awarded internal or external or industrial grants. We also support fellowships, JESRA, PEDRA, and others through payroll to help them to get their salary. And one area also of our activity with regards to internal grants is we monitor progress. So our role is also to monitor progress. So we have in place progress reports. If your grant is over 2 years, at the end of the first year, we ask you to submit an interim progress report. And we submit it to a peer review committee, and based on the outcome of that assessment, we release funds or not release funds for the subsequent year. In addition, we interface. So Mrs. Maysoon here, senior specialist with us in the department, she interfaces QU or research office with external funding agencies, namely Qatar National Research Fund, QNRF, and soon QRDI. We will also to interface you, the office and the university, with external partners. So we work like the middleman. So you submit your requests for change in budget, for queries that you may have, and we liaise on your behalf with external funders. So the role of post-award is really to offload you of the technical nitty-gritty details of managing the money, managing the hiring, but also we help you as much as possible in the procedure of progress. I think the time that is remaining until the break is again with us here. So I invite Mrs. Maysoon to join me here. So what we're gonna do is we will start with the blog. I really like that Dr. Abdulaziz has introduced you to the blog. It's a convenient way. We all struggled as faculty to find the information that can be hard to find through the QU main website. But the blog has been really, really a fantastic tool since it has been developed by Dr. Abdulaziz and the team a few years back. So I'll take you here, and you go to the life cycle of your grant. Very simply, click on it and go to where Dr. Abdulaziz was explaining the workflow or the life cycle. And in here, so we have only one document, so we do not break it down. As soon as you click on any of these icons there, you will find a set of small slides that we have developed to basically present for you the main areas where we help you to manage your funds. So usually a grant is about money. So the most difficult thing is how I can transform that money, that award, into resources that will help me to achieve the goals of my research plan. So the number one point is hiring. So here we explain to you all the types of hiring that you can really get or from an internal grant, the expense types, and the travels that is allowed under internal grants, and any other operations, including budget change. When you write your proposal, you put a tentative budget. So this is not set in stone. So there are always things that change. Sometimes you think that you have forgotten to budget for a software, or the software was available through ITS, it's no longer available through ITS, and you come and say, okay, I need the software to do my statistical analysis. Can I have some budget moved from here to there? And we assess, we evaluate the benefit of that change to the grant. And we ask you just to submit a form that is endorsed by your associate dean or for research or equivalent in the centers. It's going to be the director of center. In the college is going to be an associate dean for research. So, and finally, we invite you to look at the last slide. Whenever really you publish an outcome, so we publish a paper that has been supported by an internal grant student or otherwise, we ask you specifically to acknowledge the supports using the format and the code number or the award number that we have provided you with. Why we do that? Because it's very important for us to track and monitor the outcomes and how much really per real we are getting publications, what quality of publications we are getting. So that helps us really to track our performance as a university and as a research office. Importantly for you, if you want to pay your publication fees, if any apply through your grant, you will only be reimbursed through the grant if you are acknowledging the grant. So you need really to be sure of that. So if we scroll down quickly, and we will give you a chance to ask any questions, and Maysoon and myself and the team, so we are not here alone, so we have several of our colleagues here, so they could step in and add more. So we have here all the types of hiring that you can do on an internal grant, by extension to any external grant where you have personnel budget, undergraduate students, a research assistant, and these are the levels that you could hire from. Bachelor, master. For an undergraduate, it's sufficient that they are active students in QU, graduate students, active graduate students at QU, and postdoc, they have to have a PhD. So here are the payments, how much money I'm gonna pay. So the system is really designed that you will hire only locally within really Qatar. Hiring from abroad is very, very complicated. So this is available on the public domain, so you don't have to worry. It's accessible anytime you want. You can download the slides if you want and keep them with you for record. It's really something we encourage you to do. So these are the payments you can make based on the experience of the candidate that you have identified and you want to hire. So these are the ranges of payments you're gonna pay. You have also the option of paying by daily rate. So by daily rate, I mean by that, if you need the individual only 5 days in a month, you're not going to pay. So it's prorated to how many days in a month divided by 30 or so. You're gonna find these numbers here, 267, based also on the degree level of the individual hiring. And here we have the procedure that's explained. We will go through the forms, where to find them towards the end. So we have some channels that are electronic, I mean electronic form. You go online, you fill an application, and you can follow up the progress. It goes to your line manager, head of department, for example, and then from head of department, it's gonna come to us for validation and approval before it goes to HR, where they will create the job number and make the paperwork. Sometimes they need a medical commission checkup and so forth. You can hire consultants. So this is up to 10% of your budget. If the consultant is within Qatar, so you could go right away through this procedure following these, expense scheme here. If the consultant is outside of Qatar, you cannot really fly them, to be honest. With this budget you have on an internal grant, it's going to be very hard to fly someone in. But with approval and justification and approval from the ORS director, we can allow you to have, to hire a consultant outside of the country within 10% of the budget of your annual budget. The types of expenses, these are their cutoff. Below 20,000 riyals, you can just go and buy directly yourself, unless it is a prohibited, item. And by prohibited, we mean sensitive equipment. We call it sensitive equipment. That's a computer. That's any IT equipment. You cannot buy on an internal grant, because we consider at the university that on chapter 2 you cannot get these, because the university is supposed to provide you with a computer to work. So on external grants, if budgeted for, you can. On internal grants, you cannot. But any other expense that is allowed, you will be able to buy directly, pay the company and seek reimbursement, or bring the invoice and we will pay directly the company by wire transfer. Of course, not us as Post Award, we are just helping. We receive the documents, we check that they are valid, and then on your behalf, we channel them to finance for the payment. Anything above 20,000, you will have to deal with Ms. Dalal Hassan in our office. She is in charge of raising a requisition request, where you will need to go through a procurement process, understand tender, and the procurement department will be involved, and you need the quotations and other things. And once really you have selected the supplier, the process will be completed with the purchase order. So here you have all the types of expenses that are there. So we have the purchase requisition form. This is an online form. So if you click, it's going to take you to the eForm channel. Of course, I have to log in with my QUID to be able to, because it's secure. So here you find all the forms. So this is the form. So most of what you need has been diligently created into eForms. So if you want to hire, so you need to use the personnel or the permission to hire. Personnel action form, this is the PAF, we call it PAF. It's a form when you want to recruit someone, not on a monthly basis, but rather a few days in a month, or it's random, sometimes 5 days, sometimes 20 days. You don't know how much you're gonna need your research assistant or your student month to month. So you could decide at the end of the month, you submit just a payment form. So you make a recruitment, and then each month you have to submit a document here to say, I want to pay 5 days this month, 20 days next month, and nothing the other month, so we don't submit one, and so forth. We have a travel permit. If you want to go on a conference or collaborative visit on your grant, you could go here, and it's very intuitive. So you start the form. Sometimes you have to try, keep trying. Keep trying, don't give up. The point is, with Post Award, you have to be patient. You know. Okay, so it's very simple. So it's as intuitive as it can be. Start with your grant. So of course it includes all the grants, including. So we start with the QUCG, for example. Now start with the cycle. So the one that is currently active is 21-22 and 22-23. Anything that has 22. Then the award number. You need, it's very intuitive, so go and find your, so I selected my own one, so it comes as pharmacy. If I scroll down, I make sure it's my name there. And don't worry, if you make a mistake, not a problem. you will receive a notification on your email to tell you validated, because it doesn't really validate here. So one of your research assistants, if you're lucky to have a personal assistant, an admin coordinator, she can do that for you. Because any employee of you can access this. If you have a coordinator in your college, in your department, or if you are lucky to have a smart research assistant, they can do that for you. So and then it comes for approval. So here what you need to do is fill the email address, fill the name of the employee, put a bank letter if available, so to be able to pay the salary, the type of recruitment, the type of travel here. So this is a travel, and then your position, then the country where from, and then the duration, and then the air ticket, how much is gonna cost. If you're traveling on internal grant, don't worry. It's gonna be by zone as per a chair packages for non-Qataris. So it's 9,000.
18,000 for Europe and 21,000 for Japan and USA.
So we follow the HR packages. Travel is very, very simple. But in all cases, you need to. Okay, so in all cases, you need to follow the travel permit. So before you go, you provide us with your travel permit. So sometimes we see something is missing, so don't worry. We will come back to you and say, please, you're going on a collaborative visit. We want you to put the tasks, what we're going to do, how we're going to discuss the results of this. We're going to discuss with, I'm going to teach them whatever technique, present a seminar. So all the tasks that you're going to do. Oh, you forgot to add the acceptance of your abstract or conference. We're going to go back and ask you to just complement those and reopen the channel for you to fix. So it's pretty intuitive. So when it comes to you finish your travel, you come and again you need to close your travel. So we give you 70% advance for 18,000, for example. You come back, you give us your receipts, you give us evidence that you have traveled to the conference, came back. We release the payment of the remaining 30%, and we close the travel permit for you. Annual allowance, that's probably not for internal grant. And we have here purchase requisition form. So this you will use if you are buying something above 20,000 and you want really to buy it from your supplier. So the same process happens again. The only difference is the type of task. Here we are asking you to add the details of the items you want to buy. So here is, say, books, or chemicals, or whatever really is needed for your research project. And then you can insert more and more items as you need. So one line with one item, the supplier, the budget item, is it equipment, is it miscellaneous? So most of the time it is equipment, miscellaneous. If it is printing, a book, translation fees, for example, for those of you who are really making translation Arabic to English or other language, editing fees, or other things, printing a book, printing a poster, and you add up the quantity, the total, and then this is like an Excel sheet or calculated tab. It's going to give you the total. You approve, you submit, it comes back to you for approval. Then it goes to your line manager, and then it comes to our team. We will review, and then we raise it on your behalf to procurement. And once it's there, a buyer will get in touch with you to start the process of the purchase itself through the procurement process. So for the permission to hire, so this is a very important task that most of you are frequently using. Is the same. So you find your award, you find the cycle, you find your name, make sure really you have, and then here you put the email of the individual you want to hire, student, graduate, undergraduate, a research assistant, a postdoc, a technician. And here you put the highest degree, because for us it's very important we know the highest degree is matching the level. So if you hire someone as a research assistant, it's okay to have a BSc or bachelor. But if you want to hire him as a postdoc, that's not okay because they need to have a PhD to be hired as postdocs. Here, are they working in the university or not? Are they coming from outside of the country? Do they require a visa or not? So usually we do not recommend for you to hire from abroad because the hiring duration will be ridiculously short. So at the moment it's a maximum of 3 months, which is not even guaranteed based on the Ministry of Interior rules. So we can bring the person for 1 month, extend for another month, another one, but that's based on the approval and the current immigration rules set by the MOI. Here you put the start date, the end date, you select the level of recruitment, undergrad, postgrad, or consultant or technician. And here you put the salary, monthly or the daily rate if you want to recruit someone only certain days in a month or change in duration. And then all the documents with a red star are compulsory, the passport and the certificate, the degree and others. And finally, you just press the button, it comes to you for approval, it goes to your line manager for approval, and then it comes to us for validation. Once everything is okay, we send it to our colleagues from HR who are with us in the department, and they will do the needful for the process. So in a nutshell, you start here, you start from the blog. So this is where we started. So we started here from the blog. Look up the policy. It's summarized in slides. Please take it, put it, in somewhere on your laptop. Try to use it and look at it each time you are making a request. As I said, we have a form that you could use for budget change. And here is the acknowledgement. So whenever you publish, please don't forget to add the acknowledgement of the grant number. Not to say support from Qatar University has been received. This is kind of you, but it's not enough for us to count as an outcome of the grant, and more importantly, to reimburse any publication fees on the grant if you need them. Here are the links also that you find. So this is the ORS website, the e-forms. And here we have still some paper-based forms for some tasks here. What forms am I showing? The expenditure. Yes. Okay. So some forms are still under the paper-based format. So if you want to recruit someone, let's say you have someone for QU employee. So this is research notification. Notification to hire a consultant is paper-based. If you forget to attach it, we will send you an email and say, please fill this form. So these are the forms where you are also going to use a lot is the ER form. So this is the famous ER form. This is the famous ER form because we said we covered hiring. So hiring, e-form. Travel, e-form. What else? Consultant, e-form. We have only the notification of hiring a consultant or no objection that you will get. And the requisition purchase is online. Now what is left? If you buy from your pocket something, you come to reimburse it. So for this, you need to fill the form. This is the form that most of you are probably familiar with. So this is not ORS form, this is a finance form. Let's say you have purchased, I don't know, books for 18,000 riyals, and you want to reimburse them. They are on your budget. You fill simply your name, your email, your job number, your phone number, and in here you have the table that where you put the invoice number, the company name, you will put the description of item, what is it, books, for example, the sponsor award number, so the award number that will give you QUCG, QUCP, IRCC, and the amount in whatever really. If it is in dollars, you have to add it in dollars. If it is in Qatari riyals, you add it in Qatari riyals. And this area here is for us, for the Office of Research, so don't worry about it. Pay the order to who? So if you are getting the reimbursement for yourself because you have paid, you put your name. If it is for the company, because you have the invoice and you have you did not pay, so you want us to pay directly the company, that's also possible. We will pay the company, just add here the name of the company. You want a check or you want a wire transfer, we advise you to always take wire transfer. Do not, getting a check is probably very difficult. It's not really easy thing. And here put the total amount in real. And why I tell you this, sometimes what you do, you buy something in dollars on Amazon or whatever, and then your QNB bank or QIIB or whatever bank you are with, they will charge you fees. They're gonna charge you, I don't know, an exchange rate of 3.7 or 3.75 for $1 instead of 3.65 here. So what happens is we want you to put the real amount of money that you have paid. So if there are exchange fees or whatever, it's gonna reflect here. Be worried that if you have to pay with your credit card, you need a card statement to be added here to show that you have really paid, and also to show that you have paid, at an exchange rate of whatever. So we reimburse you at the actual. So we call this actual. Then you need to sign. Your head of department or associate dean for research needs to sign. And then it comes to us at the research office with the original invoices, and we will be sure to forward. A piece of advice from experience: scan all your invoices, scan this document, keep a soft copy on your laptop, make an Excel sheet and keep your own records so you don't get really lost, how much I have left. If you are really in doubt, you can always email us and we will tell you have left this much on your grant or this much on this category in your grant. But it's really good practice. I do it certainly as the post-award manager, and keep all my grant details on an Excel sheet for my own use. It's really simpler. I know how to track things, and I scan every single invoice that I receive. So it's really good practice to do this. You never know. The T-boy has lost the documents. It has been forgotten somewhere. You have always somewhere so this is really just a tip from practice. Yeah.
We always need the original signatures, original form, handwritten signatures in blue ink. Please do not send scanned copies of the form because the finance will not accept it.
So
Thank
prefer
you.
blue ink. Finance like blue ink. نعم دكتور محمد. لا interrupt us anytime. Huh?
I was informed by
It's a finance requirement, doctor. They will not accept the form if it is a copy of the signature. They need the original signature by hand.
It is an audit. So that's what they always tell us is they get audited by the Ministry of Finance, and Ministry of Finance apparently requires hard copies of signatures. If you cannot secure a hard copy signature because your line manager is traveling, for example, or is, I don't know, cannot do it and you are in emergency and you need to submit immediately, what you can do, submit an electronic signature and an email approval that they have approved the form. Yeah, you know, that can be accepted by finance, but either one of the two. So the easiest for you is to get an original signature from you and from the head of department. But if you need really to submit something with an electronic signature, it's possible, but provided you have an email from the signee to say that they approve the form.
Most of the time we spend working. This is our problem.
That's
I know it's not.
it's a very difficult, you know. Sometimes more than that. And we have no way of tracing those, unfortunately. So once it's in the finance, we have no way to track your application where it is in their process until it is approved. We receive a copy email of the advice remittance like you. So we have an email where we receive the advice remittance. So we can say this application or this request left us on 1st of the month and has been processed 3 months late or 3 weeks late, or but we cannot really control the process. This is a finance form. This is not a WRS form. So what we do is we offload you of the communication with them. So we add all the details here. So these details here, we add them so that they can know from which budget code, from which task they're gonna take the money. But unfortunately, as research office, we only interface. So we only take from you and check that everything is there. And we check that you have the budget, you have the approvals if you need any from us. And then we send it to finance. Don't worry, my ER forms take as long as yours, and sometimes they come back. You know, I used to have Dr. Abdulaziz sign in them. They refuse his signature and say, no, you need to get them signed by the head of department. Dr. Ashraf was here. I used to go back and ask my head of department at the college to sign them for me so they could reimburse them. That's why it's good to have a scanned copy of your documents, because these things happen. They don't happen often, alhamdulillah, but they do happen. So if you have an origin invoice, especially from a company that you cannot really ask, where you cannot ask a copy. If it is a local company, if it is an electronic one that you can print from your computer, it's really fine. But if it is something, I don't know, that came with DHL from the US, from China, or from wherever, it's very hard to get a replacement invoice. So please make copies or scan them. For the environment, I think you should be scanning rather than making copies. Dr. Atiyana. $20,000. No, because it's not our form. So as per ISO, we asked the ISO certificate, you know, if we should update it. They told us that it doesn't even have our ORS form system. So we did not, yeah, so it says 9,000, but don't worry, it's 20,000 on internal grants. For QNRF, it's $5,000, which is 18,270 riyals. If based on an exchange rate of 3.65, you know. The current one, I think it's 3.652 now. I don't know, because we receive it from finance through QMB. So any other questions? You don't have really to ask specifically about the forms or anything. You know, it's like with our students, you see everything and you see nothing. So it's really with practice that you're gonna really understand. So we will be here. So we will not be going anywhere. So we are here at the first floor. If you have questions, the team is just superb. It's probably the best team I have ever really seen going the extra 10 miles, not even extra 1 mile. You may not feel it all the time, but they go always 10 miles extra to help everyone. So if you have any question, if you have questions بالعربي ما فيش مشكلة. يعني you have يعني feel free. Yes, sure.
Is there a way around that? Because I will contact you. And then they say you don't want to. You want to, but I want to. Is there a way around that? If this is a requirement that we only the university agreed with, like I think this question is. Yeah, I think this question is more for me than to my colleagues in Post Award, because this is at the beginning of making your project. Yeah, actually, it is very important because why? Because later our colleagues from the contracts will make a contract that will be signed by the university. So if at the end of you submitted, you worked on the project, etc., and at the end the university, as you said, they say that we will not sign it, then it means that you did 6 months or 1 year work without any result. So, and the contract is very important. I mean, it's an obligation. You cannot work with another university, having students or making in research, paying money, etc., without a contract. So the contract is mandatory. You cannot just make a project with a colleague because, you know, there is a budget behind. We give you the necessary money, the budget, to execute your part here. And we request for them, because it's IRCC, International Co-Funding, we request them absolutely to have the co-funding. And this co-funding is, how I say, secured by the university, not by the LPI. He can say what he wants, but I mean, from the regulation point of view, the university can say that, yes, we agree with him. Otherwise, you know, if we give you the budget here and you can work here, but your colleague is not working because they will not allow him to work on this because his time is over, because they will not give him the space, because they will not give him the students, etc., then it is a big problem for us and for the project. Yes. Yeah, again, I know. Just think about the contract itself. If the head of the department has the authority officially from the university to sign international collaborations, there is no issue, because he should sign, someone should sign and agree and put the name of the university or the college, etc. If he is not the signatory later, then it is a problem. He can commit, but if the Office of Research Support or the vice president, or I don't know, because, you know, each university has different structure. If we cannot have officially that document, then you will be blocked. So that's why it is very important that from the beginning, you have the right letter to be sure that at the end, when we send them the contract, they will sign it. And believe me, it happened. And we stopped 2 or 3 projects, I think, since 2 or 3 years, just because the university said, no, they want to work together, but we cannot authorize our LPI. And then it blocks the system. And again, you will lose all your time and you'll be frustrated at the end for nothing. So better knowing from the beginning and having the right. When it comes to international relations, yeah, it's not very easy, and we can understand it. And you know, at the beginning, we said that you need to secure exactly what we are giving to us. I mean, your colleague need to secure more or less the same amount like us. And then we understood that this is not always easy. It depends. Probably our RA is more expensive, his salary, than in other countries. So we adapted this and we said, no, we look just to the project and really to the outcomes. What does it mean if the country is, I don't know, from Africa or from Asia? We look just to the reality of the research. So we are also researchers, we are faculty, we know what does it mean. So we did not want really to put all the headache on our LPI. So we are trying to see case by case, and we explain this to our committee. that, of course, we can have differences in the amounts, we can have differences in the activities, we can have, and we always like, of course, that you put students inside the programs, because we know that project is a project. At the end of the project, probably you will continue, probably you will not continue together. However, if you are putting a PhD or different masters, etc., that's perfectly, because we know that you will publish with the students, that the students will have an idea about what they are doing there, their students will have an idea about, and definitely they will be really the ambassadors of the project, of our university in that country, and their students will be ambassadors in our country. And definitely a lot of, by experience, we know about this, that we are building projects and the sustainability is related to what the students are doing, not what we are doing as faculty. I have a lot of things in my mind. When I finish my project, probably I will shift to other things and I forget this collaboration, which is the reality. This is no problem. So that's why, the IRCC, it's a very specific kind of project, and definitely we are pushing all our colleagues, really. We really invite you to go to international collaborations, because we need this also for, the university, for your departments, for you. We need you to have different collaborations and network. This is very important, even for the reputation of what you are doing, etc. But again, I know that it's not that easy, and there are more constraints probably than our internal grants. And again, so we are working on what we call the co-supervision and co-tutel, things like that. And we really want in the future to have more and more PhD students in the IRCCs, even if the budget from the other side is not big. However, they are really securing, let's say, half of the funding for the PhD for, let's say, 1 year, for 2 years, for example, and we are funding through IRCC 2 years for your PhD. That's perfect. So we would like really the students to be inside, and we are really accepting kind of scholarships or things like that from their side to be sure that we are having really a work around the PhD student.
I will just add one point about these letters. So from our experience, so the letters are only not for IRCC. So if you have a collaboration and on a QNRF grant, I don't know, MME or QNRF and PRP, be sure that if they commit to any co-funding, even in kind, that the person who signed the letter is within that institution the authorized to sign those letters and issue them. I give you a simple example, Hamad Medical Corporation, HMC. So for HMC, it has to be the, what we call it, the Medical Research Center, the MRC director who signs it. If you say, I'm making, I don't know, a project with Hamad and the surgery department is providing me with the free lab tests, with nurse time, with this and that, and then you put the letter and then the head of department will sign it, QNRF will accept it at some point. But once we get in touch with Hamad to sign a co-funding contract, say, no, we're not signing. Who signed here? This is the chairman of the surgery department. It has to be the MRC director. This has not been run through us. So we are not signing, and we don't really, and in this case, for those services that would have otherwise got for free from Hamad, you will have to find money to budget them because you did not secure the right approval for the co-funding from Hamad, even if it is in kind. That applies to PHCC, that applies to any entity that you are working with, Qatar National Library, HBKU, Kiri, QBRI, or whatever entity, even inside Qatar. So you need to make sure that whoever is signing is authorized to commit to those resources, or follows really on the same principle or idea that Dr. Abdulaziz said, that if I commit, I engage the university. We have Dr. Saeed here, will sign all the contracts because he is habilitated to engage the university or to sign on behalf of the president of the university. There is a delegation of signature. So whatever contract, a service agreement, a material transfer agreement, whatever is signed by our director will have legal effect because we are habilitated to do it. If you have an MTA that is signed by your head of department, be cautious. You know, some companies may turn against you. So be always worry who is signing for you and secure the right level of authority when you get those to us. Because sometimes you get away at the pre-award, but you hit the wall when you come to the post-award or legal. So very, but don't worry about the details. We tell you a lot of things, but sometimes with practice, it's easy to go back, come back to us. We're really patient. We do go through the things with everyone. There isn't a time where we had really a complaint that someone came to see us and went, away with no clear information. We do really make every effort to give you the right level of information you need for your query. So we're the only ones standing between you and the break. So if you can.
Yeah, I think definitely welcome anytime to ask our colleagues or ourselves some questions. So in the blog, this is very important. That's why we are really insisting, because we send a lot of emails. Probably you received them, you forgot probably. So please go to the website, to the, here, you will find at the end the list of, and I have to go to, yes, here at the bottom, you will find all the emails. Actually, I can click. Yeah, just click here. No, just go to the same. No, just go to the same where you were.
Where I was here.
Yeah. Just here and click. Yeah. So you see here, if you go a little bit, here you have actually the emails of each department. So for the two first, it's the pre-award. If you click on staff, you will have all the emails of the staff. So research contracts and post-award. So please do not hesitate to use this depending on the section, because we receive a lot of emails, for example, related to post-award that we are pre-award. So you will lose a little bit time. The time we read them, we forward them, etc. So it's better from the beginning, so you can go to the right department. And if you click, as I said, to staff, it will take you to the web site, the official one of the university, where you have all the emails, phone numbers, etc. of the colleagues. I think before we go to the break, because by experience, I know that we have always more people before the break than after. So I'll just show you one slide before. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdelhadi and Maysoon, for your help. So let me just show you. I go back to my slides. Yeah, so I think we went through this. We will see it later about the submission. Yeah, I want just to show you this. So we are all concerned by this. I mean, post-award, pre-award, all the office. So this is just for the submission deadlines, because we were talking about the submission, etc. So we have a timeline during the year. We are trying to balance, the submission, because we know you have teaching, you have research, you have etc. And even the students, they are busy, and they have exams there. So it's not always easy to catch the student and ask him to participate in the project, to give you things, etc. So we are trying to balance, but believe me, it's not easy at all, because we have now more and more calls, and we don't depend only on our calls. We depend on a lot of things that you don't see, because we need also to have validations. We need also to have a lot of things. So, and we need to secure things before we submit, because as soon as we tell you that go and submit, it becomes official. So we have to be sure that you can submit and that you have everything. So this is just to give you an idea. So in blue, it's the internal grants that you know. So the collaborative grant, so they have the acronyms here, the collaborative grant, the high impact, the NSPP for students, the national capacity, the IRCC, the CD, and the transformative. And the blue, it's the students. The students, as I said, you have two calls. One at the beginning of the semester, so we are, I think, until 20 October, the submissions, and then it will close. And then we will evaluate, etc. Then you will have, if you missed this one, you will have another call where you have to submit on April. It's per semester. I think you know about the process. There are some conditions, etc. I think you know them. Just click on the student grant. You will understand what are the conditions. You cannot, a student cannot have more than 2 grants, a colleague also, etc. Then in yellow, So these are the new grants. So we are really happy and proud that we are going to add other, we added already some of them. New grants, what we call the IDC, the indirect cost from a budget, specific budget. We are finding solutions to let you participate in new grants, which are related mainly to the visiting scholars. You can invite through the college. This is very important. Our resources are very limited, so we are limiting this to one invitation per college or one invitation per center. So if you are interested in bringing a colleague, etc., a researcher, so please work with your center or with your department to work with the college to invite that colleague. So it should go through the college. It's not, it's limited to the colleges. You cannot submit from your side, but it's very important to know about it because definitely the college is working with you to invite people. The PhD, we will talk about it later, but PhD, we are in the process of preparing a call for PhDs. But I mean, as you know, so the World Cup is somewhere here. We are really doing our best to accelerate the process and to open all this. But I mean, if we cannot open it here, definitely it will be, inshallah, in January, it will be shifted. يعني. ما تأخذوناش كما نقول. It's we have big constraints and we don't depend just on our actions, we depend on a lot of things. So, but we are really accelerating the process. We have also what we call the industry-based graduate studies. We are really working, we are still working, and we hope that we can make it as soon as possible. It's to let the colleagues who are having relationship with the companies. I know that in different colleges you have this, and you want to work with the company, and the company is ready, or the organization, a ministry, etc., to support the student for a PhD, for a master. But they need, of course, the student to stay with them for 6 months a year, for 4 months, to take the data, to work on their processes, to innovate with them. So we have, I mean, we understand this need, and we are trying to make policy and to try to help the colleagues to make this happen. Because today, if you make it, you may have some troubles because who will authorize you to keep the student with the company for 6 months? So you are not really supported from this kind. So we are working on this, and inshallah it will come very soon. Marubeni, I think you know about Marubeni, some colleagues participated. So this is a Japanese group who participated in the funding of our colleagues, etc. And we made the Marubeni call #1. It was 2 years ago. We funded 11 international collaboration like the IRCC, but with Japan. And we funded 6 CTP, which is from concept to prototype. This money is coming from the industry. We would like it to be really related to the industry. So that's why we opened the CTP call and we funded 6 projects related to going to prototyping, etc. So we are again discussing with the company, and inshallah we will open the second Marubeni very soon. Yes? Second. The first one was QGRC and CTP together. We opened it 2 years ago. So we are at the end of the projects. And the second one is with the remaining money. So we are opening again another one. So we expect probably to fund between 6 to 10 projects, depending on the projects, depending on the. So here what we need this time, because the company wants also a relationship from the cultural point of view with Japan. So we are merging a little bit the CTP and the QGRC. The QGRC is a kind of international projects, and the CTP is making prototypes. So we are trying to merge both of them, and we are really focusing on the exchange of the students. So this one you will have to exchange at least one student or to put PhD in the project. Postdoc and visiting, so it's #2 because we opened already the postdoc call and the visiting. So we already awarded, you may have seen this, it was I think 1 month ago or 2 months ago, we gave the results. So we awarded 10 postdocs and 3 or 4 visiting, and we are opening a second one quickly to leverage on that. So we'll fund more or less the same numbers. So you will see this very soon. I think our director signed this morning. I think he authorized us to go with this. So we will go, inshallah, for this one. And then the transformative is, we opened already one. It's called T2RP. T2RP, yeah, transformative projects. This is to support the transformative pillars. You know, we have 4 pillars. So you have the core pillars, but inside the pillars, the university is focusing on some very specific topics that we call the transformative fields. So please go again to the, if you forget about this, go to the blog and then follow the pillars and you will see. So you can, in general, in our calls, you can be in the transformative or in the core ones. We accept all, we are, helping and we are supporting all your research. But we are making a very specific call called the transformative call to support those sub-pillars, let's say, those fields, because the university is working on that and wants us to support them. So this is very specific and you have to work on that sub-pillar to be funded. So we funded already, I think, don't remember, we don't have, yeah, we still did not give the results, but I think the idea is to fund, I think, between 8 to 10 projects every year, inshallah, in this field. So this is just to give an idea, a glimpse about the coming deadlines. So be prepared. It's very competitive, but we are trying really to do our best to cover all the fields that are very important. We know that PhDs and postdocs and visiting are very important for us. So that's why the university and all of us are really making really efforts in this way. Definitely, it's not always sufficient. We know that funding 10 postdocs per year probably is not sufficient. But at least this is the beginning, and we try, inshallah, with you, with all of you, with your help, in the future to have probably more funding from the industry, from the collaboration, and as soon as we start this, I think definitely we will leverage on it, inshallah, next year. Thank you very much. I think Arwa is looking at me saying that we are late. So probably now let's take 15, 20 minutes maximum break. So there is coffee and some food and some snacks in the, probably, I don't know exactly where.
It's at the end of the corridor where you are going to the centers. You will find it in there.
And we come back we will come back for probably half an hour, 45 minutes maximum to talk about the GAs, very important for you, and also for the pre-award, but the pre-award, it will be very small. Thank you very much. See you later. Now I invite my colleague to talk a little bit about the GAs. So, fun.
Thank you, Dr. Abdelaziz. First, I want to introduce myself. I am Ghada Al-Kuwari. I am the Assistant Dean for Student Affairs in Office of Graduate Studies. I will speak briefly about GA or Graduate Assistantship. Actually, in our selection for the GA, I want to give you a small brief about the GA. Previously, the GA was focused on student and faculty. I mean, the student can do anything related to research with the faculty without like a specific research. But now, because we want the student to focus in research and save their time and effort, we transfer to the new scheme of GA. It contains two phases. Phase 1, the faculty must submit a proposal, a research proposal to Office of Graduate Studies. Then we send it to an external examiner to examine the proposal. After he gets approval from the external examiner, we put it in our web page and announce it for the students, so the student can apply and can choose and apply regarding to their main topic in their research, I mean in their thesis. So this phase for fall 23 already done, and now we are in the phase of communicating with external examiner to send the applications or the research proposal that we received. Alhamdulillah, this semester we received about 114 research proposal from most of the colleges. It's a good number. But the window for the student will start with admission for fall 23. That will start on January 8th until February 16th. This is the window for a student to apply for GA as a student. There are two ways to apply for GA. Through this page or through admission. I mean for the admission for the new students. But for the current students who are already also eligible to apply for GA, they can apply through this page. So this page you will find the main pillars that the research, the faculty research must focus on: energy and environment, social science and humanities, health and biomedical sciences, information and communication technology. And in this field, I want to give a note for faculty, because there is some student come to my office and tell me that as a student, I prepare the proposal and send it to the faculties who he can submit it to us. But this is not acceptable. As soon as we know that this proposal is made by the student, we reject it. Beside the pillars, there is a required supporting documents. So this one for the student, research topic, CV, transcript showing latest GPA, publications, and publications. Sometimes we're facing a problem with the student and level of master. They told us, I am like fresh graduate from bachelor degree, so I don't have any publication. So in that case, the decision will be of the college in case they want to take the student as a GA and level of master. Also participation in conferences and workshops, special experience, research mentoring experience, and recommendation letters. The application, as I mentioned, he must apply through ComfTool. I think most of the faculty here, they know ComfTool and how to use it. The student apply in the ComfTool. It will be from January 8th until February 16th. And this is a general rule. I mean, if any application without any attachment will be, of course, rejected. The same situation for faculty. In case faculty submit only a request without any attachment, I mean, there is no proposal, there is no CV, it will be rejected. But of course, we will contact with them to remind them there is an application without any attachment. Please submit the required attachments, so we can accept your request. For GA evaluation form, this is like an advanced phase. This is for a student already GA, and this link for the student to write their information regarding their research and get approval from their supervisors, and then will reach us. And we have a specific email for any inquiries: ga@qu.edu.qa. This is very brief about GA. I'm focusing now on the students, but I think most of the audience here, maybe a faculty, and the phase for faculty already done. But it will be the same situation even for the new cycles. I mean, for 24, 25, or 25, 26. Anyway, the announcement for the announcement for winner student and faculty will be inshallah soon in March, hopefully. Thank you very much. Any question regarding GA? We learn from our mistakes.
Is there any number for GA? For example, some of them they call GA. Is there any number for knowledge in case the graduate assistant has a
I know we received a lot of similar questions regarding the code. Actually, there is no code because it's not like a grant. You know, GA, it's almost like a job opportunity for the student, or kind of like I don't want to say that it's a financial support. It's not a financial support. We are supporting students to improve their research skills mainly. But of course, he can benefit from the salary. But no, unfortunately, we don't have a code for the GE. We have Dr. Abdulaziz. Is this possible to have a code? Victor.
Just a code that would be like a reference code. It's given. But for me, this person and this person are Qatar University to showcase really that but definitely something that we can assist our colleagues. Just a record number that there is nothing to depend on.
Okay, no problem, inshallah. Thank you. Yes. For master student, 2 years. For PhD student, 4 years. Yeah. And for faculty also, if you win a GA for this year, but you cannot find a suitable student, you can postpone it for maximum 1 year. Yeah. Yes. Yes, you must be a QU student. So in case you are like a completely new student, when you apply for admission, you will find our link there to apply for GA in the same time. If you are a current student, you need to log into our webpage, and there is the link here, CompTool. You can apply through this link, and of course you must attach some attachment like CV and publications. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think we are at the end of the session. I will just take 2 minutes to go back to this slide where we started. And I wanted just to highlight one point. So we talked about the submission, about the follow-up, etc. I think I have another. Yes, for the internal grants, you have also the same tool actually, and I'm very happy that all our offices now are using the same tool. So it's very easy for you when you know how to apply here with us. So it will be very easy to apply on the other side. So it's called also CompTool, but we designed it with so it's called iGrants. Or iGrants Extend. It's the same for you. It's transparent because we send you the email, okay, the broadcast, and we say click here to submit. So if it's, for example, for students, PhD, postdoc, which is based mainly on the student, individual, it will be called iGrants Extend. an extension of it. We have different tools, but for you it's separate. So it looks like this. So you just click, it takes you here. Then you have to create your account. I think I have just yeah, I'll show you quickly, but I mean it's very easy. So if you come here, so you, I hope I have the password. I forget it because I was using the other computer. Let me just check here. Actually, they changed the computer. Ah, very good, it worked. Do you like to save now? Yeah, no. So you go to applications. So this is just an example, huh? So you go to applications and you will find there actually all the calls. Huh? So here we just made for today just a awareness session program. Suppose that it's a new program. So you have here, for example, the collaborative grant, the high impact, etc. So you will find it here. Huh? Then you click, suppose that this is new program called awareness session program. We created just to show you. So here you will have 2 pages to fill, very easy. So you are preparing your application on the side. You prepared it, you remember the template that I gave you. So you fill the template and it's ready in PDF. Now you come here to complete with some metadata. This is very important for us for classification, for our statistics, etc. to follow this. So you have just to put your ORCID number. I put anything. So you have automatically your name because you created the account. Then you add the other PIs, the other members of the project here. And then you put the title, a small abstract, because this will keep it. And then you have to say from which pillar you are. You remember I told you that if you go to the definition of pillars in Qatar University, you have the core pillars, core research priorities, and you have the transformative research priorities. Most of our programs are core and transformative. The only call called transformative is you have to click only on transformative. Where is transformative? It's here. But for all of the others, we have just to say where really you are working. So for example, here, oil and gas or environment and biology. So here you are in the pillar called energy and environment. You have social sciences, you have health, and you have ICT. And then you click where really you are working. This is for our statistics, to see really where we are funding and how many projects, etc. Then you have to select the college or the center. Suppose that I am from the College of Engineering and I'm working on, for example, here, I don't know, I just click on something like that. And some keywords. So this is also important for our statistics to see really if we are looking for, I don't know, for example, someone who is looking in similar area like you. So we can also go through keywords, or I don't know, we can find also reviewers sometimes based on the keywords, etc. If you have an endorsement letter for the IRCC, etc. This is the endorsement letter signed by the Associate Dean. Yeah, definitely we cannot accept projects which are not endorsed by your college or the center. Definitely, they have to know about it. Because sometimes you request, for example, space, and when you make the project, you need space. So we cannot force the college to give you this space if they don't have it, etc. So they have to be, with us in the loop to be sure that they are authorizing you to make this research. So here you just say that, yeah, my project is endorsed by my college. And here some other declarations which are, the proposal is new and was not previously or partially funded. This is very important because we are tracking, we have a lot of mechanisms to see. So if you submit a project which was, for example, submitted and funded already by us or by others, then it's a problem. The proposal is not submitted twice within this. I think the expression is not good. We have to enhance it. You cannot submit the same project for IRCC and high impact in the same time. You cannot submit to different calls. So you have to submit different projects to different calls. And during this cycle, the proposal is not submitted in parallel to other funding sources. So you cannot submit it to the European Commission, for example, and to us in the same time. So you have to submit only to one time. So these are some declarations to do, and then you go to the second page, which is simply to upload your PDF file, which is your application document. I see here the application document that you filled. It's a template that you have to fill. Then Excel, the budget. Yeah, the budget now is separated file, so you have to fill it as Excel and to upload it here. And the third possibility is the support letter for the IRCC. For example, you need a support letter from the partner, so you need to submit it with the project. If you don't submit it, so you will be pre-screened. You cannot continue. Etc. So we have some flexibility, by the way. We pre-screen on something which is really very important. If you are a student and you are submitting and you should be in the call, for example, an LPI, a faculty, we pre-screen you. You don't have the right to go. But if the letter is missing and you send us in advance saying that I have small issue, the letter will come in the next week or 2 weeks, I think that's not a big problem. So we understand that sometimes it's difficult to make signing, the letters, etc. It should not be after 6 months because it's too late. But I mean, if you send us the information, we agree together and there is no issue. So, and then when you say upload the files, and it's, sorry, I did not upload, so it will not work. But then you say, okay, submit, and in real time we have it, and we have all the projects. So then we have kind of classification of the project depending on the calls, etc. And then you allow us from this section to start our review. The review, some colleagues sometimes don't understand why it's long, because just you have to understand that we have between 300 to 400 grants projects in the same time to send to reviewers. So the first thing we do, we from your keywords, from your title, from the abstract, etc. We have colleagues from the different departments to help us. And then if we have a question to ask, for example, we cannot find a reviewer based on this, so we can call the department and say that, what do you think, this area, do you have people around you, things like that. So it should be people from outside. We check, so we have a list from the keywords and the title. We have, for example, 10 people. We go, we click on some people related, the closest ones. We check their records. We go to Google Scholar. We see if you have publications with them. If there is a conflict, we stop there. If we don't have any person, our colleagues, they go on websites, to the labs, to the universities, and they try to find people who are in the same area like you. So it's a long process, to be honest. And then we invite the person to review. Sometimes he answers in 24 hours, sometimes in 24 days. Then I think we have a process where after 3 days, I think, if there is no answer, we make a reminder. If there is no answer, then we go to the next reviewer, etc. And then a lot of cases can happen. He can say yes, and then we see that because he has a form to sign, also an agreement, saying that he should keep the information for him. He should he did not publish with you during the last 5 or 6 years, I don't remember, etc. So then some reviewers see that now they have a conflict of interest. And sometimes they say yes, and they don't do the review. Sometimes, it's really very big. It's huge. And remember that we have 400 applications. So it takes between 4 to 6 months minimum to finalize all of them. And we don't have the right to go and announce the results and make the grading if we have only one application which is not finished. So that's why if you are 400, even if we finish 399 in 1 month, we have to wait until the last one is done. Otherwise, it's not fair. So that's why the process of the review takes time, and this is quality means time. If we review them just by ourselves, probably we can make 2 weeks, but this is very important to understand. Also, regarding the submission, I think, this is the main tool that we are using. Very simple. We never had problem with the colleagues, but you have to know probably if you are new, that you have only 2 pages to fill, and that's it. I think I finished here. Yes? Yeah, I think they are saying that at 3 exactly we should stop. Arwa confirms. So we stop here. If you have any last questions, so marhaba. Otherwise, so again and again, the the blog is very important for you. It will be really, really the main tool that you have to use because you have all the information there and we are updating it every day. And I thank really my colleagues here who helped us today, starting by our director, Dr. Saeed, and my colleagues about their help. So we are here to help you. We wish you all the best for your research. Thank you very much.